the Reds, and the Colts. Now let's go courtside and join the broadcast team for our Senator tip-off pregame show.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome inside the friendly confines of Dr. T. Kermit Tower Gymnasium, where tonight the Senators are looking for a season sweep of the Lions. Salem comes to town sitting at 500 on the year, having lost 4 of their last 5 outings. Meanwhile, the Senators are in the midst of a 6-game winning streak of their own. So tonight it's Creed and Balboa Part 2 as these two bitter rivals prepare to write the next chapter in this rivalry that they have and have had for quite some time, and your countdown to the tip starts now. Hello again, everyone. I'm Misty Jones, and joining me in just a moment for tonight's broadcast of Senator Basketball in Salem's 1220 will be my sidekick and my broadcast partner, Senator Football's own Mark Gibson. Well, for the Senators, they have been living large, in the words of DJ Khaled, because all lately they've been doing is win, 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 no matter what. Whether it's more of an up-tempo setting like last week's game over at Eastern on Tuesday night, or whether it's a physical knock 'em down, drag 'em out slugfest as it was in Leopold on Friday night against the Commodores of Perry Central, Coach Sullivan's ball club has found a way to win in any form or fashion, and a way to get it done down the stretch. And most of that's thanks in part to the Senator defense, which really has stepped up and held their opponents in the 40s through this 6-game win streak after dropping that season opener. However, despite the grooming of the 2-2-1 zone press, which has started to be more and more effective as we roll on through this stretch of games, and they started to get that balance that they need, especially with the junior big three of Bousman, Green, and Strange. You know, as you go toward February, you go toward March, and you look at tournament time, there's a couple of things that really stand out that good teams, or great teams, I should say, do. Number one, that's being able to knock down free throws, being a good team from the line, and they have not been that through the 6-game win streak. And some of that has caused them to be a little close for comfort in some of the games that they shouldn't have been in, or so close in, rather. And the other one is having that killer instinct and mentality, and I just don't think right now this group has displayed that. Do they have it? Are they competitors? Sure. But have they showed that kind of killer instinct? Not to this point, because they've had teams such as Pekin last Tuesday night on the ropes, let them come back right before the half. And then here on Saturday night against Edinburgh, they had the same situation, had a team down at least twice at 14 apiece, and never could deliver that knockout blow to the Lancers on Saturday, despite the win, their 6th straight. So as I welcome in Coach Gibson to our broadcast tonight, one has to wonder just what it'll take for the Senators to, A, get those two things working in their favor and get that mojo as we roll on toward the end of January, trying to get that killer instinct and to correct the free throw woes, but also what's it going to take to get a sweep of the Lions here tonight?
Well, I think there's several factors, 3 that I think are interesting. First of all, we have to make smart decisions. You know, first half last week, or especially Saturday against Edinburgh, when we had them down by 15, 16 points, I think you said we had 4 turnovers at half. You got to make smart decisions if you want to win ball game. Second half, not so much, and that's why the game ended up being closer than what it should have been. We made poor decisions with our passes. We made poor decisions with our shots. So you have to make smart decisions. Second, I think we have to own the boards. We've been very inconsistent rebounding the basketball. First halves especially, it seems like we're not finding guys and putting bodies on them. Second half, we've been doing better, and it seems like we always end up out-rebounding for the game in the 6-game winning streak, but we've had to do it in the second half. So we got to find Meade, we got to find Fleming, we got to limit their second chance points. Finally, you can't let this game just all be about emotion. A rivalry game, you have to play basketball, and you can't let your emotions, you can't let them get out of hand, you know what I mean? You have to play within yourself, play good, smart basketball, and good things will happen.
And that's exactly what happened to the Senators in the championship game of the Holiday Tourney, despite the win over the Lions in that Holiday Tourney championship game. It was Harrison Sanford who kind of lost control of his emotions a little bit, got teed up at the beginning stages of that second quarter of play, and he set the rest of the game. The Senators, despite foul trouble, was able to grind out a win, and it was largely due in part to not only the play of the other 4 starters that gave valuable minutes, but guys off the bench like Nash Huff as well, who knocked down the 3 monster triples from deep in that third quarter run where they just smoked the Lions in that third period of play. But on the flip side of the coin, Mike Brown's probably felt a little bit more like little Orphan Annie as of late, because it's been a hard knock life for him and his Lions. As I said in the open, they have lost 4 of their last 5, including a split. They finally halted a little losing streak that they had coming out of the break by beating Orleans at home 47-44 on Friday night, but then turned around and took one on the chin down at Crawford County. So they got a PLA split this past weekend, but again, they've dropped 4 of their last 5. And you couple that with the fact that, you know, they had to swallow the loss to the Senators, which is never tough for either one of the, or never easy rather, for either one of these teams to do in this rivalry. It's tough to take a loss in a game like this. You talked about it. Emotions are high. Senators had snapped an 8-game losing streak to the Lions in doing so. So not only did they snap that streak and break their confidence maybe a little bit, send them into a spiral over the holidays and coming out of the holidays, but they also had to know that that was for a championship, something the Lions were able to do against the Senators last year on this very floor. And then you look at their lineup, and you know, they got the father-son duo, the transfer from North Harrison, Mason Jones, a guard for this team that's very active. He's usually a starter. He's in a walking boot, going to miss 6 to 8 weeks with a fracture in his foot or something with his ankle that happened in practice just over the break or right after the break. So they're without him. They're a little short-handed in the backcourt. They got a transfer from Brownstown as well that's not eligible until Friday. So things start to shorten up a little bit on Mike Brown's bench as well. But Coach, besides a possible lineup change that we're likely to see here tonight, what else do you expect to see differently perhaps this time around against the Lions, or from the Lions?
Well, differently, I don't know. It's like you heard Coach Sullivan talk about it in the pregame. You know, you even asked him about the press. You know, I thought we handled their 3-quarter press pretty well last year. They got a couple of turnovers early against us, if I remember right, in the holiday tournament. But after that, we settled down, and it really didn't affect us. And in fact, we actually scored off of their press a few times. So I don't know. I mean, obviously, that's what they do. So we're going to see some of it. But it would surprise me if we saw a ton of it if it wasn't very effective. What was effective at times was that 1-3-1 zone with Meade out front. And he turned a couple of our lazy passes into easy buckets for them, especially in that second quarter where we were just kind of struggled the whole on every facet, you know. So I would expect to see a lot of 1-3-1 with him or Fleming up top. They kind of switched them to see if they can't turn us over. And like Coach Sullivan said, I really would think the way he's playing, they're going to try and limit Jake's touches, I would think, and just hope Parker and Holden don't catch fire from 3, because the way Jake's been our catalyst. Obviously, Holden has been outstanding. Parker's being more aggressive each game, but the way Jake has been playing, I think he's the number 1 guy you have to take away.
And that's the problem for teams like Salem. They have to pick their poison,
right,
and they'll have to do so here tonight. But as always, we want to take a moment during our Senator Tip-Off pregame show to thank you, the fans, for tuning in to tonight's broadcast here on Salem's 1220. Also, if you're tuning in live on YouTube, and also want to thank our sponsors that make this and every broadcast of Senator basketball possible. And those sponsors include Eddie Gilstrap Motors, bringing you this pregame coverage tonight from the Ron Smith Court, as well as McDonald's. They'll bring you the halftime report, and Ace Hardware will bring you tonight's post-game wrap-up. Papa John's, Meadowview Healthcare, Rodney Bruff Insurance Agency, America Flea Market, Ernstberger Orthodontics, and also for the next game or two, El Camino Restaurant joining the fray as well. When we come back, we'll be joined by Senator head coach Clayton Sullivan. We'll get his thoughts on tonight's rematch with the Lions. But first, as always, we'll pause 60 seconds to hear a word from the Indiana High School Athletic Association. You're listening to the Senators and the Lions here tonight on WSLM.
You want to feel goosebumps? Then purchase a ticket to an athletic event at your local high school. You'll be making a lasting difference in your community. Buying a ticket to an IHSAA game or meet helps ensure your school has the funding it needs to operate. New uniforms, safer equipment, transportation. Your ticket purchase helps to pay for it all. You're also helping today's student athletes learn the life skills they need to get better jobs and become better leaders. Plus, you'll see them do some amazing things.
Whoa! Did you see that? Oh, man, I think I just got goosebumps.
Me too.
High school sports. We pay, they play. Everybody wins. This message brought to you by the IHSAA, encouraging you to go to a high school game this week and help build a future that benefits us all.
Welcome back as we continue on with more of this edition of our Senator Tip-Off pregame show. It's a midweek showdown and a clash it will be as the Senators and the Lions go at it for a second time in this county rivalry this season. Senators get the better of the Lions in that first meeting, 56-47 in the Holiday Tourney Championship back in December. And we're joined now in our pregame, as always, by Senator head coach, Mr. Clayton Sullivan. Coach, your team's rolling, and we talked about it a little bit in the post-game the other night. 6 straight wins now. I know you got to be happy about that, but there's some things like developing that killer instinct that a championship team has to have in February, in March. What do you do to try to, instill that in them in the midst of this very busy portion of the schedule?
We talk to the boys. We just got to continue to talk to the boys about, and that's what great teams are about. That's what championship teams do. They take care of the business. Doesn't matter who the opponent is. It's just something we're going to continue to talk about. And, the coaches and staff, we've got that instinct. We want to go out and we want to put, teams that are, subpar, we want to put them away early. If we continue to talk about it and have that type of attitude, we're hoping it translates to the team.
Well, on Saturday night in the win against Edinburgh, 54-48, the final in that one, you do get 3 players, once again in double figures, the 3 juniors, Holden, Parker, and Jake. The problem is when you look at the scorebook, there are 4 goose eggs. Your 3 guys off the bench, and Chase and Harrison. Again, a very quiet offensive game with 4. How do you start to bring some of that additional production around and not leave it all on the other 3 shoulders?
Yeah, Chase knows that coming into it, he's not going to be a big-time scorer. If he can chip in a bucket or 2 a game, that's great for us. But a guy like Harrison, we need him to put the ball in the bucket. I'd love for him to be around that, 8 to 12 point a game type of player. And we've discussed with him, right now you're an athlete. You're a great athlete for the team, but we need you to do more. We need you to be more of a slashing type of guy. Your man turns his head when Jake's got the ball. You slash to the middle. If they start running some run and jump stuff at Holden or Parker, be ready to, slash in there and get the ball. And also, he is a great athlete. We've talked to him about getting on the offensive boards, getting, 4 or 6 points a game just from hustle and effort.
Well, you're going to have a chance to maybe correct some of that. And again, another busy week. 3 games this week, Wednesday, Friday, Saturday. And, of course, it starts tonight with this showdown, this rematch with the Salem Lions, who are on the struggle bus right now a little bit. They've dropped 4 of their last 5, Coach, but, when you look at the lineup and you look at the personnel, of course, there's not a whole lot different in terms of what Mike Brown's team offers, but maybe in getting to see some film of some of their more recent games since that first matchup, what do you maybe see that's a little bit different about this ball club?
The first thing that kind of stands out from their last weekend games would be their lineup change. The Mason Jones boy, the sophomore lefty point guard, really did a lot for him, and he didn't play last weekend, I'm assuming due to injury, but we're going to prepare as if he's going to be there tonight ready to play. That was kind of a big thing we saw, and then, they're playing a little more zone. Okay, they're still trying to do, press and trap. They'll run 2-2-1, they'll run 1-2-2 full court, 1-2-2 half court trap, 2-3 zone, some man trapping stuff. So it's all a lot of similar stuff, but I'm thinking we're going to see a little more zone tonight than we will man-to-man. So that'd be one thing we've seen changed. Offensively, they're kind of doing the same stuff. They're still looking to get out and go in transition. They attack really hard to the rim and look to get those kick-out threes.
We talked about some of those multiple defensive looks. That's a staple of a Mike Brown team. But I thought in that first matchup down in the holiday tourney at Borden, you guys did a nice job of handling pressure, and you were able to kind of see a blueprint of how to work around that full quarter, three-quarter court pressure from Eastern, who did a nice job as well the night before.
Yeah, it's going to come down to, can we take care of the basketball? We got to, see what they're in. We know what to do against each type of press or defense. And, our Holden, Parker, Harrison, those guys got to be floor generals and get the team where they need to be, because I'm sure it's going to be a loud atmosphere for a Wednesday night game. And then we got to attack it. We don't ever want to play on our heels against a pressing team. When we get pressed, we want to get buckets out of it.
You also go back and look at some of the things that stand out, and as we look at the scorebook from that first matchup, one thing that really, pops the eyes for me a little bit, I look at the turnover category, and I had them unofficially for 16 turnovers in that first matchup, 9 of them in the second half, when we were able to go on that run there in the third quarter, and then just 5 for us. So taking care of the ball against that pressure, obviously something you were able to do in that first matchup, but as you said, it's going to be critical, even playing at home, to do so again.
Yeah, it's huge. I think that's what it mainly comes down to. I told the boys, if we take care of the basketball and we attack it and we get, good looks out of it, whether it's layups or inside-out threes, you win. You will win. But if we come out and we're careless with the ball and we play on our heels and we let their pressure dictate what we do, we lose. And that's because we're playing right into their hands. So we got to come out and just be ultra aggressive and look to score in the fast break. And anytime they want to bring pressure in the half court, find the ball to the middle and then attack 4-on-3, 3-on-2 situations.
It was kind of nice in that first matchup. You go back and look, and of course your team's down 25-17. You go into the locker room, and it was an all-out assault in that third quarter by your group. They turned the tide, and from there never really looked back as they outscored the Lions 23-9 in that third quarter. And you get production from several guys, but one of them flying under the radar probably going into the tournament was a guy like Nash Huff, who hit 3 monster shots from downtown for you in that third.
Yeah, it was great to see him step up and, knock those shots down. We came out, we had to adjust the game plan a little bit. We had to play, all zone that second half, and it worked to our advantage. Salem settled against it, and they weren't hitting very well, and our guys were very active in the zone. And then Nash come out offensively, and we told him at the half of that game that they're not guarding you. You've got to be ready to shoot the ball when you get it, and luckily he was there in the third quarter.
Again, we've kind of talked about it. Their personnel pretty much the same, aside from maybe the Jones boy, who may or may not play tonight due to some injury. Didn't play last weekend against 2 other PLAC schools in Orleans, which they won by 3, and then the loss at Crawford on Saturday night. But you know that it all centers around, offensively for them at least, I think, Myron Mead.
Yeah, Myron's a great athlete. He's long. They run a lot of stuff for him. He does a pretty good job attacking the bucket, and he crashes the offensive glass really well. He's kind of hit or miss when it comes to shooting the 3, but if he's on, he can rattle off 2 or 3 in a row. So you got to make sure we're high hand on the catch when he gets the ball, and then it kind of goes off from there. The Jefferson boy had an excellent weekend last weekend against Orleans and Crawford. He was actually shooting the ball really well from the perimeter, and he does a good job of attacking the bucket and trying to get on the glass as well. Petmeyer was ultra aggressive on the film against Orleans. He was really, you could tell, trying to be assertive and get to the rim, and he's doing a good job finishing. So making sure we're containing him and getting a hand in his face as well. And then they started the Howard boy down low. He's a big body, more of a screener type. So we just make sure we box him out, communicate when he's setting the screens. And then I'd like for our bigs to get out and go and transition and beat him down the floor and see if we can get some buckets that way. The McHuron boy, he sets a lot of screens as well, but he is a shooter, so making sure we get a high hand on him as well.
Based on our personnel, of course, guard play, always very intriguing to watch how things develop, just like Perry Central the other night, having Parker and Holden scoreless through the first half. It's kind of interesting to see how each game has its own flow and how those guys adapt. But the one thing that I see is probably a big key, and maybe you agree or disagree here, is the battle of the bigs. In that first game, Fleming, I thought, and Mahurin gave good help to a guy like Howard or even Jefferson at times if they got to switch off, or Meade, whoever it was switching off, getting caught down on the block against Jake. But we were both a little taken aback by how they were trying to defend him in the post and how other teams have as well. Do you see them trying to adjust their game plan with Jake?
Yeah, I expect them to bring doubles. I expect them to bring doubles off of Chase and Harrison, just because, looking at the scorebook here lately, those two aren't really putting up a lot of points. So we've got to adjust to that. We adjusted last night, the offense a little bit, to kind of get some more spacing out there, some more room for Jake to work and make their defense have to travel longer if they want to bring a double. I could see them trying to work to get in front. But if you're not a team that works every day on fronting the post, it could lead to a lot of issues with over-the-top stuff. So I expect double teams to come early and often, but Jake's done a really good job this year. When the double does come, he finds the open guy, and we can work from there.
And that also means good news for guys like Harrison, who might be slashing backside, Holden and Parker, of course, and even a guy like Nash coming off the bench as he did in that first matchup.
Yeah, everybody's got to be ready to play tonight. And your number's called upon. We need Nash or Lop or Brown, whoever it is. When they come in, they got to be ready to give us serviceable minutes, whether that's, defensively, offensively, passing, taking care of the ball. I'm hoping whoever we call upon tonight, they're ready to go.
Finally, lineup and health of the team.
Lineup's going to be the same as it's been all year. Everybody's healthy. Everybody's excited, ready to play. You'll have Holden and Parker and Harrison at the guard spots, and you'll have Chase and Jake as the bigs.
Coach, best of luck. We appreciate the time as always. Go out and get another one here tonight against the Lions and make it a sweep of the county opponents.
All right, thank you.
Coach Sullivan joins us here on our Senator Tip-Off pregame show for this midweek showdown against the Lions. Stick with us. We'll have more in a moment. You're listening to the Senators and the Lions on Salem's 1220 W.
When you're listening to IU Sports, you need to be locked in on WSLM 97.9 FM, your home for IU Sports.
Back we come to the Ron Smith Court as we wind down the final 70 seconds or so here before the anthem and tonight's opening tip between the Senators and the Lions. Again, as I said in the open, it's Creed and it is Balboa Part 2. Two rivals, bitter rivals at that, and both of them are looking for a W here. Salem needing it a little bit more right now, having lost 4 out of the last 5, but the Senators certainly, this would help kind of push them over the top a little bit and continue to help them grow in the rankings in 1A as well with a win over a 3A school. Tonight's keys to victory brought to you by Eddie Gilstrap Motors, just south of the square in Salem. First and foremost, pressure points. Which team can speed the other one up early and cause some trouble? We know Salem's likely to throw some full court, three-quarter court trap and pressure situations at the Senators. The Senators, can they capitalize, and then can they counter punch with that 2-2-1 pressure that they rolled out during the holiday tourney? Secondly, help from Harrison. This is a game where Harrison's got a chance to prove something, because in that first matchup, after he had to sit for the final 3 quarters, the team somehow found a way to get it done at Borden for the championship. But we've got to have production out of Harrison tonight. And then third and finally, free throws. Can our 2-2-1 possibly?
As a team, your West Washington Senators set the school record for most offensive yards in a season at 5,028, most forced turnovers at 31, most shutouts at 5, and the most victories in a season at 12. This team won the PLAC, the sectional, and regional championships, and is the 3rd football team in school history to make it to the Final Four in Class 1A football. At this time, the team will present to Principal Mary Ann Knapp the Final Four picture that will be hung on the south wall in the T. Kermit Tower Gymnasium with the other West Washington teams that will be remembered for their Final Four seasons. Let's give your 2019 West Washington Senator football team a round of applause.
to that will be 2x4, I believe, picture and edition of Coach Bausman as well. That will be attached forever to that picture. So this team will live on, and it will certainly be remembered for years to come, as they will get a chance to display that proudly now for the foreseeable future, as long as the Friendly Confines remain standing. So it's nice to see all of the boys out on the floor to accept that Final Four Regional Sectional Championship team photo with the coaches and players and team members on it. So as we wind down here, we'll get ready to have our national anthem. That means we're going to step aside and hear a word from our pregame sponsor, Eddie Gilstrap Motors, again just south of the square there in Salem, as they brought you tonight's Keys to Victory at Senator Tip-Off pregame show. And when we come back, we'll have tonight's starting lineups brought to you by Eddie Gilstrap Motors, and we'll have the opening tip between the Senators and Lions. It's the rematch everyone's been waiting. Midweek showdown as the Senators and Lions get ready for the sequel. The Senators claim the first one in the Holiday Tourney Championship with a 56-47 win down at Borden High School in mid to late December. Holden and Jake had 18 apiece in the win for West Washington. Let's meet tonight's starting lineups, brought to you by Eddie Gilstrap Motors, just south of the square in Salem. First for Mike Brown, 19-16 in his second season at Salem. He owns a 492 win to 274 loss record overall in his 33rd season. His team averages and gives up the same amount, 55.9. Their last outing was a 76-65 loss at Crawford on Saturday. They'll start a two-guard set. Number 2, Brody Petmeyer, 6'2 junior, starts at the point. He'll be joined by 6'5 senior, number 4, Myron Mead in the backcourt. At the 3 spot will be 23, Isaiah Jefferson, a 6'4 junior. 32, Shane Mahurin, a 5'11 senior, will start at the other forward. And in the middle will be 50, Trell Howard, a 6'3 junior for the Lions. 4, Clayton Sullivan in the Senators. Coach Sullivan 16-17 now in his second season. His team averages 54.5, and they give up 47.5 points per contest. They're coming off of a 54-48 win against Edinburgh here on Saturday night, their 6th straight win. He'll start a two-guard set, a true two-guard set, that is. Holden Bausman at 6'2 and a junior starts at the point, averaging 17 points and nearly 6 boards, 6 assists, and 4 steals per game, lighting it up. He'll be joined in the backcourt by his running mate, Parker Green, number 12, a 6'1 junior at 9.9 points per game and 3.5 boards. Number 3, Harrison Sanford, will be the point forward at the 3 spot. He's a 6'3 senior at 4.5 points per game and 4.5 rebounds. Chase Farmer starts at the other forward, 6'2 and a senior at 1.5 points and 4 boards per game. And in the middle, 32, Jake Big Dog Strange, 6'5 and a junior, averaging 16.5 points per game and 6.5 rebounds for Coach Sullivan and his team, coming in with a 6-1 record on the year. Salem coming in with a 5-5 mark. Salem will be in the road black uniforms trimmed in white and gold letters and numerals with the lion head on the back in between the shoulder blades. Senators will be in those home white Under Armour unis trimmed in red and blue. Blue letters and numerals trimmed in red. Tonight's Indiana High School Athletic Association officials are Mr. Brian LaRoche, who we had at Perry last Friday night, as well as Craig and Daniel Starr. Brian LaRoche steps to center court on the flying W. It'll be Meade and Strange to tip it out, and it'll go to the Lions here as we get things underway. As the Lions will look at a little man-to-man defense from the Senators to start things out. Just underway. Glad to have you along with us here in this opening quarter. No score. Salem controlled the tip, and they have it first. Misty Jones alongside of Coach Mark Gibson. Petmeyer out front, picked up by Bousman, leaves it off for Howard. Looked at the post, couldn't get it to anyone, so it'll go right back to Petmeyer, who slides it around, and they'll get Holden on the pickpocket out front. This will be his first and the team's first foul and our game's first of the night. Just 33 seconds in.
Just that early, that may take a little bit of aggression out of Holden's defense. You don't want to pick that first one up so early.
I don't care if Holden gets 3 in this first quarter. You got to play him.
Absolutely.
You got to trust your guy to get the job done, and you can't have him sitting on the bench. Meade back out top to Petmeyer. Takes a high screen. It's going to be an illegal screen. Trail Howard through the hip into Holden, so that'll be turnover number 1 of the night for either ball club. And for Howard, his first personal team foul, number 1. And the Lions now will apply some full court pressure. They'll go a little double nickel, a little 55 man-to-man, full court. Farmer gets it to Sanford, in the middle now to Holden, who gets it cross court to Parker. Drives in, 14-foot jumper, air ball, and it comes into the hands of Shane Mahurin. They'll push ahead quickly. Jefferson with it. He'll spin, nowhere to go, has to kick it out, and the Lions will slow it up and cycle back through. Just over a minute gone by in this first quarter of play. Mahurin with it left wing, kicks it back out now to Meade. Meade, couple of dribbles, gives it back on the little flip over to Mahurin. Jefferson far side, picked up by Parker. Tough fadeaway jumper won't go, and the rebound cleared by Chase Farmer on the weak side. Holden looks to push in transition. He'll get into the paint, kick out to Harrison. He'll give it right back. Swinging around now on the baseline to Farmer. Sends it cross court. Back out top. Harrison to Holden. In and out, no good on the 3. And the rebound pulled down by Petmeyer on the far side. Jefferson in transition. Slows it up to Petmeyer. Now around the horn it goes to Meade. Right side. Dribble drive take. He'll go with the law of verticality against Harrison. And that one no good. Ball tipped away. Turnover number 1 for the Senators in transition as they tried to feed ahead. Petmeyer then loses the handle, Holden nearly with the swipe, and it's Parker instead who gets the steal on the errant pass to Howard as the business starts to pick up here in this first quarter. Parker to Holden, around the horn it goes now to Harrison. Each team with a foul, each with a turnover, but no points to this juncture. Nearly 2.5 gone by. Jake on the kick out, they'll swing it around. Holden, deep 3, right side, that one off the mark, no good. Rebound will carry him off the hand of Harrison and out to Parker. Parker in the corner, back to Harrison on the wing. 2-man game of pitch and catch. Howard with the blatant shove right in the back. Howard will have a seat with 2 quick ones. It was a blatant shove in the back, from the small of the back, that is, to Jake, trying to get him off the block. And Howard's a big boy, but he's struggling playing behind him, and we wondered if they would try to do that.
Yeah, and it's like that forces, and we talked about their bench isn't super extra long to begin with. Now they have foul trouble early, so that's advantage Senators. If we can get something to drop.
Into the game is Gavin Fleming. Fleming is a 6'1 senior. Had good minutes against the Senators in the Holiday Tourney Championship, but him and Meade both battled foul trouble late. Holden, little runner, off the back iron, won't go. Rebound fought for, and Fleming comes out of there with it. Leads on 3-on-3 break. Petmeyer tries to swing through, has it swiped by Holden. Turnover number 2 for the Lions. Holden, 3-on-2 break. Leads it for the big dog. Nice pump fake. Couldn't get it to go. Farmer with the rebound. Out to Parker. Now to Holden. Stops, pops. Jumper for the baseline is good. And Holden has the Senators on the board first. 50 ball movement by the Senators and good extra effort to get another opportunity.
Yeah, we're getting good looks. Can't get anything to fall till that Bousman on the baseline. So getting good looks. You just got to keep pumping them up there.
Lions with 2 fouls, both of them on Howard as he sets on the pine. Fleming comes in as the 6th man for the Lions. Senators still rolling with their starters. Bousman, Green, Sanford, Farmer, and Strange. Senators back to more of a matchup 2-3.
Yeah, it had been showing man-to-man up until this point.
Again, nice crowd on hand. Good cheer block for both groups. That shot by Jefferson may have been partially blocked by Parker.
I think it
Holden
was.
clears the rebound. Tracks it down, gets it into the front court now. He'll get it back from Harrison on the give and go. Cross court, Parker, three, bang, got it to go. Parker with his first shot of the night, and the Senators are out to a 5-0 lead, 3:54 and counting first quarter.
Man, when he catches it in rhythm like that, and it's usually Holden finding him, a little half step to gather, boy, it's pretty.
Petmeyer out front, slows it back up in between the circles. Now he'll send it off right side to Mihurin. Kicks it back out to Jefferson, over to Petmeyer in front of the Senator bench. Be picked up by Harrison in that shifting zone underneath. Fleming had his shot blocked by Jake. Comes off to Parker. Brown wanted a foul. It was a clean strip. He'll talk to LaRoche, but to no avail. Parker out front, gives it off to Harrison. He'll take it now far side to Holden. Holden back to Harrison in the corner. Nearly lost the handle. Will try to kick it back out. Holden tries to save it, but it'll be an over and a back. So 2 turnovers apiece for each team here. 3:11 to go, first quarter of play, and the Senators out to a 5-0 lead.
Again, that was just kind of uncertainty, kind of an uncertain pass to the corner to Harrison. Kind of bobbled a little bit. He felt he was falling out of bounds, so he had to throw it back out towards the half court. Holden wasn't quite ready for it, and it's over and back on D. Oh,
Back
there's
door.
the lob.
There's the lob we saw in the first half of the game against them in the holiday tourney, and it goes to Meade. So Salem has their first 2 of the night. Make it now a 5-2 advantage for the Senators early, just under 3 minutes to go here in this first quarter. Parker, short corner, right side on the rip through. Farmer drives and tries to kick, and he'll be called for the offensive foul. So that'll be a turnover, and his first of the night. So Holden and Chase with a personal apiece.
Not sure that's the
44.
perfect place we want Chase driving on the baseline there, trying to make plays.
Grant Mahiran, a 6-foot sophomore, will check in at the next dead ball for the Lions as they try to already go 7 deep. Senators yet to sub in this one. Jefferson, near side on the wing, looks at Meade through the paint. Can't get it to him, so they go back to Mahiran on the far wing. Back out to Meade, rather, who drives from Mahiran. Little floater won't go. Rebound pulled down by Strange. Harrison will look to push in transition down the middle of the floor. Stops, gives it off to Parker. Steps into a 3. Got it to go. But they'll call a travel on the extra step on the gather. That'll be turnover number 4 for West Washington. And the Senator Bluebirds across the way over by the band, letting the Stars have it.
Was that a travel? I don't know. I mean, he just didn't dribble.
I've seen it called and not called. You'd like to, as a shooter, be able to catch it like that and not have to put it on the deck so you go in rhythm. Fleming out front, high pass, gathers it in, gives it off to Meade, who drives in top of the key. Gives it back to Petmeyer, trying to use the fancy dribble. He'll give it back to Meade out top, picked up by Farmer. Screen offered by Mahiran. They'll give it off now. Grant Mahiran, middle of the floor, gives it off to Petmeyer for his first 3 of the night. Brody Petmeyer's on the board, and we're tied for the first time officially at 5 apiece. Ball deflected out of bounds in front of the Senator cheer block, and the Senators will reset it. $1:37 to go here, opening quarter of play in a 5-5 ball game. Jefferson will check in, and Meade will check out, so we'll see if we can capitalize here with Meade off the floor with those long arms, always looking for a backside block on the help side. Parker to inbound. He'll finally get it in to Holden. They'll clear out, let him bring it up against a familiar face in Petmeyer. They've done battle since elementary. They'll go left side. Parker has it. Looks at a cutter across the baseline. That's Harrison. Gets it back out top. Holden with it now. Works against Grant Mahiran and gives it back. And now we'll get it one more time from Harrison. Little flare out top. Parker couldn't get a shot off. Harrison has it. Looks at a partial double team for just a second. Holden has it. They'll feed down low to Jake. He'll spin baseline. Had good position. Could not finish. And Jefferson will push in transition. And that's a carry and a half. And he'll be whistled for it. Turnover number 3 for the Lions. And here comes Meade right back into the ball game with 58.5 seconds to play in the quarter. Petmeyer will have a seat on the pine.
This has not been an offensive clinic so far. 5-5 with 58.5 to go. But again, It's a lot of defense being played right now.
Shades of the slugfest we watched in Leopold last Friday night. Parker for three, right wing, got it to go. Parker's got two made baskets from deep. Give the Senators now an 8-5 advantage. No lead changes, just one tie thus far. Just seconds ago at 5 apiece. Senators with the 8-5 advantage coming up on a half minute to play first quarter.
A little
Holden
2-3 zone.
comes out to
Gotta
match
watch
up
that
out
lob
of the
again.
2-3.
Back screen.
Meade, though, out top this time instead of roaming the baseline from the corner. Meade has it. Brown calls for the high post. They get Mahurin in the high post. They go to Grant Mahurin, now to Shane, and he'll drag the pivot foot for turnover number 4 for the Lions, and the Senators will have the last crack at it. Plus, they'll have the ball coming out of the quarter break as long as there's not a tie-up. Petmeyer in, Mahurin out after the turnover, and he will get ripped by Brown on his way to the bench.
See what Senators have here. If they will try and look for something quick with 16 seconds. Or
16.2 to go. Parker gets it in to Harrison and gets it back. He'll bring it up against Grant Mahurin and now
Looks
leave it
like
off
it.
for Holden. Under 10 seconds to go. Gonna have to go quick. They send it into motion. Harrison back to Holden. Holden gets into the high post. Parker stops, pops three. Couldn't get it to go. It would have been one crazy bank shot. Just rimmed out. Would not go, but the first quarter will come to a close with the Senators in front. A low-scoring slugfest as expected. 8-5 after the first quarter of play. We'll step aside, take a break. We'll hear a word from Meadowview Healthcare in Salem and come back with second quarter action right after this.
Caring people make the difference. You can feel it the minute you walk into Meadowview Health and Rehabilitation. Experts in long-term care. Not just doing a job, but following a calling. They're here to help you and your family find answers, solutions, and peace of mind. In fact, they become an extension of your family. For more information about Meadowview, visit ascseniorcare.com or call 812-883-4681. That's 812-883-4681.
Back we come for second quarter action. Senators had the last shot of the quarter, a three-pointer that nearly banked in. Parker tried to bank it off the glass. It rimmed around and spit back out as time expired, but the Senators will have it here to open the second quarter of play, operating with an 8-5 advantage, but a good first quarter for the Senators.
Absolutely, and again, we watched, like I talked about in the pregame, you got to, in the first halves of our games, we've been kind of inconsistent on the boards, but we actually led that quarter 6-5.
Comes a little 1-2-2 half-court trap action. Holding into the paint, gets a little runner to go off the window, and with the smooch off the glass, he's got 4, make it now 10-5. Senators matching their largest lead of the night thus far at 5. Petmeyer back in transition with it. It'll slow it up and let him get set in a 1-4 high. Now they'll shift guys around. They'll go a little clear out here. Instead, now they even it back up at 2 apiece. Cutters through the paint here as the Senators kind of match up out of this zone. Parker steps out to guard Jefferson. And Coach Sullivan all over Parker because he left Mahurin alone for a moment in the corner, and Brown was pleading for Jefferson to go that way. Grant Mahurin back out top now, gives it off to Meade. 1 minute gone by here in the second quarter of play. Jefferson takes a deep three, and that one's long and off the mark, but he tracks down his own board. Kicks it back to Petmeyer. He thought about a long three from the same spot instead. Kicks it back out now, and he'll slow it up against this matchup zone.
Senators playing very hard defensively, and that's where those second chance opportunities get you.
Underneath, Fleming thought better of it with his back to the basket against Strange. Shot missed by Jefferson again. Rebound cleared down by the Senators. 10-5, Senators in front. Minute and a half gone by in the second. Harrison.
Go.
Nice crossover. Lost Mahurin. Line drive. Three-pointer will go, and it was deep. Said Harrison was going to have to produce, and there's his first 2 of the night, making a 12-5 lead.
That's nice to see that go through.
7.
He needs some confidence. So.
And it was a line drive,
Yeah,
though. Looked like it was going right through the rim. And I don't mean through the cylinder. I mean literally through the metal ring.
However, like I said, it looks like a line drive in the scorebook.
Jefferson out top off to Grant Mahurin. Fleming still
3
trying to
seconds.
play against Jake, but he's back to the basket, lost the handle, turnover number 5. Brown all over his group in transition. They go back to Harrison. They'll skip it cross court. Flair to Holden. Back out to Parker. He slows it up. He'll drive against Jefferson. Leave it off for Harrison. I'd like to have seen him maybe take that shot early. Underneath, Jake on the switch. Has his shot blocked from behind. That one a clean one, maybe by Meade on the backside help. 2.5 gone by in the quarter. Petmeyer slows it up. 12-5. Senators still in front by 7. Jefferson leaves it off short corner. Right side jumper long and off the mark. No good for McHuron. Rebound off to Fleming. He'll go up against 2 Senator defenders and put it back in. Make it 12-7. 5 minutes to go. Coach Sullivan now getting after his guys a little bit. Shane McHuron will check in next dead ball for Coach Brown's ball club. Harrison surveys the damage, gives it off to Parker, who works against Meade. 2-man game, a pitch and catch between Sanford and Green as they go now left side to Holden. Back out top to Harrison, to Parker. Patient, deliberate here on the perimeter on this possession. Looking for cutters through the paint as the Senators go into their motion set. Trying to spread the Lions out a little bit. McHuron comes out to play Parker. Gets it safely. He'll flare it across now. Harrison back to Holden, drives into the high post, kicks out to Parker. He drives, nice feed down low and a good cut backside by Harrison. Harrison's got 4, matching his season average of 4.5. Halfway home nearly here in this second quarter, and it's a 14-7 advantage for West Washington.
That was a great cut, like you said, Harrison. Parker doing his little spin move into the lane. He sees a cutter.
Meade, quick 3, left side, that one long. Holden skies for the board, and he'll be ripped and fouled. Grant, McHuron, and Jefferson both there. They're going to get Jefferson for the personal. That'll be his first, team foul number 3. Senators have committed 2 to this juncture. Farmer and Bousman with 1 apiece. Jefferson has a seat. They're going to roll the dice with Howard to try to match size with Jake down low. And it's going to be a timeout on the floor with 4:01 to go here in this second quarter of play. It's a timeout for Coach Sullivan and his crew. It'll be a full timeout, so we'll step aside and get one in as well. You're listening to the Senators against the Lions tonight on your leader for Southern Indiana sports coverage, WSLM 1220 on that AM dial.
Come visit America Flea Market in Salem. We've got over 22,000 square feet of treasures and one of the largest indoor flea markets in Kentuckiana. Located at 110 Progress Boulevard in Salem, we're one of the ultimate destinations for picking and saving and a fun place to shop. We have over 70 vendors and a huge selection of new, used, antique, primitive, and vintage items. Beat the heat. Stop in our air-conditioned store. Come and see us Tuesday through Sunday. We open up at 11 a.m. America Flea Market, where pickers pick and shoppers save.
Back we come for more second quarter action out of the timeout by Coach Sullivan and the Senator coaching staff. 4:01 to play here, halfway through this second quarter. Senators with their largest lead of the night at 7, a 14-7 advantage as they go cross court on the full court press break. Harrison gets it, slows it up. Howard giving him plenty of space. Dangerous pass back out to Holden, and McHuron with the swipe goes to the other end. They're going to get Holden for a second personal foul. So that'll be team foul number 3. Holden will have 2. You got to leave him on the floor, Coach. See if they look to try to attack him now, depending on whether or not we stick with this zone or not. 3:49 to go, second quarter.
That all starts off a turnover, on the offensive side. That doesn't happen if you
if Trell Howard is going to play Harrison 4 feet off and give him the 3, let him shoot it.
Yep.
Harrison can shoot that shot. Now, I'm not saying do it on the first pass, but he can't be complacent against that much of a cushion.
Right.
Either that or dribble, drive, and attack Howard and make him pay. He's already got 2 personals. Petmeyer working against Holden. Another tough screen out top by Howard. And the Lions turn it over for their 6th time. Holden to the other end, gets fouled. It's Meade that tries to block it. This will be team foul number 4 on the Lions. And this will go on Meade, his first of the night. Jefferson will check back in after the first free throw attempt. from Holden. Holden on the year, 34 of 47, 72% free throw shooter, averaging 17 a game, 6 boards, 6 assists, and 4 steals. He's been lighting it up. And that one bounces off the front iron, the right side, and then spits out. Holden's got 4 on the night, looking for his 5th point. This would give their Senators the largest lead at 8 if he can convert. Second one on the way is good. So he's got his 5th point. The Senators have a 15-7 advantage. Jefferson will be trapped now out front. He'll kick it across to Meade. Grant Mahurin with it now. Working out there with Meade, Jefferson, Shane Mahurin, and Sherrill Howard underneath. They find Howard. Quick ball movement. Howard picks up a rare 2. Make it 15-9. Under 3 minutes to go here in the first half of play. Holden back into the front court now. Drops it off to Parker. They'll kick it cross court. Harrison gives it right back to Holden on the far side. They'll kick it out to Jake. Now over to Farmer, to Harrison. Back to Parker. Good ball movement. Another dangerous pass, though. Mahurin coming out to try to give Holden a bunch of trouble. Underneath, Jake, nice move. Fell away from it a little bit on the kick out. Offensive rebound. 3 won't go. Farmer to fight for the board backside. 4 versus 4. Meade gets the better of that one as he comes down with the board. 15-9. He'll drive into the paint. Contact, and it's going to be an offensive player control foul. And Brown cannot believe it. Neither can the Salem fans. And I thought they were going to get chased for the bump. Chase going to play good defense getting back and draw the second personal on Meade. So Meade has 2. Howard has 2. 5th personal whistled against the Lions. Coming up on a 2-minute warning here. So it'll match up 2-3.
So similar to last Friday at Perry.
So it'll match up 2-3 for the Lions. Jake kicks it out. Little crow hop into the paint. Harrison will be whistled for the travel. He's just got to shoot the ball.
Yeah.
He's just got to go. Petmeyer will check back in. 2:06 to play. Senators up 15-6. Low-scoring battle. Again, great crowd on hand. Full house here at Dr. T. Kermit Tower Gymnasium. Again, glad to have you along with us for the ride tonight. Senators in action tonight. They'll have a double-dip weekend as well. So 3 games in the span of 4 days in the midst of this wild 8 games and 18-day stretch. Meade out front, takes a screen from Fleming. He'll roll. They'll go back out now to Jefferson. Thought about 3. They'll feed it down low to Fleming. He'll spin against Strange 2 times. Has his shot partially blocked. Underneath, Howard. I tell you what, here's the thing. Howard's got a big body, but he's not an offensive threat, point blank. You know that on the scouting report. All you got to do is keep him off the board. You make him look like an all-star otherwise.
Yep, absolutely. He did this last year when we went down there. I think it was the opening game. We made him look like Charles Barkley.
Free throw on the way. Threw up a brick, and Holden claims the rebound. 15-11. Little 4-point spurt here for the Lions. Parker has it. Far side, he had space. Not sure why he didn't shoot it. Back to the zone matchup for the Lions. Hold with a baseline jumper. Left side silences the Salem fans momentarily. He's got 7, and it's a 17-11 score. Senators will trap out front. Jefferson with it. Double team. Parker with the near steal on the backside. Deflects it into the hands, though, of Petmeyer, waiting for it near the timeline. Meade with it on the near side. Back out to Petmeyer as he works it on the flying W between the circles. Sends it off right side, way out top to Jefferson, and they try to feed down low to Fleming again. And I'm not sure what the game plan is. They haven't been able to get Jake in any foul trouble to this juncture with under a minute to play, and they're allowing Gavin Fleming at 6'1" to play with his back to the basket against Jake. It makes no sense.
Yeah, I'm just kind of worried about.
If you're going to do that, do it with Howard.
Right. Howard's been backside. That's why I was kind of afraid that because Parker was guarding him on the backside of that zone. I was like, oh boy, this is a physical matchup.
Nash Huff will get a breather here as Holden's got 2. Don't want to get a cheap but little nickel dimer here with about 40 seconds to play. Out front, Jefferson works the dribble, gets into a double team. Jake had the block on the help side. Going to get him, I think, maybe on the follow-through, barely on the wrist.
I thought it was a good call. I thought Jake, initial, good block, but then on the follow-through, got his hand. Close.
So right on cue, Jake picks up his first team foul number 5 for the Senators. Lions have committed 5 as well. Jefferson to the line, knocks the first down. That's his first point of the ball game, making a 17-12 score. Holt will come back in for offense here, trying to get the last possession, and Huff will check back out. 5'8" junior gets a solid, 20 seconds of play. Jefferson knocks them both down. We'll have a sub. Grant Mahurin back in for Jefferson, who knocks down the 2 free throws. So it's Meade, Fleming, Howard out there with Petmeyer and Grant Mahurin. Starting 5 on the floor for the Senators. Bousman, Green, Farmer, Sanford, and Strange. 25 seconds to play in this first half. Senators up by 4. They've led by as many as 8 in this low-scoring battle. See if they can be patient here. To work the motion. Under 15 seconds to play now. Holden out front, lays it off to Harrison. Petmeyer nearly got the steal. Holden underneath, nice feet. Counted down 1 for the big man, Jake Strange. He leaves it off. Beautiful feet to Jake, and he kissed it off the glass for 2.
Yeah, they went for the Petmeyer, went for the steal out front, and here's Holden very intelligently said, okay, they're a man down. I'm driving the middle of the lane, and he had either way. He could have dropped off to Farmer, could have dropped off to Jake.
That's big because that's the 3rd on Howard. Jake couldn't finish the old-fashioned 3-point play, so it's a 19-13 score. Fleming in transition with the 3. Got it to go as time's going to expire, so the Senators will go into the locker room with a 19-16 lead, a low-scoring battle. Just as we expected, this was going to be a slugfest, and it has been through the first 16 minutes of play. We'll step aside, take a break here from a couple of sponsors, and we'll come back with our Senator Halftime Report, brought to you by McDonald's on South Main Street in Salem. You're listening to the Senators tonight on Salem's 1220.
At American Family Insurance, we know your life has many moving parts, from your 4 wheels to your hard-earned home and the financial future of your family. We'll cover the things that matter most. Bundle your home and auto policies for possible savings and add life insurance for convenient, future-focused protection so you can keep dreaming towards what's next. American Family Mutual Insurance Company, SI, and its operating companies. American Family Life Insurance Company, 6000 American Parkway, Madison, Wisconsin.
For details, contact Rodney Bruff, agent at Rodney S. Bruff Agency Incorporated. Call 812-277-1400 or stop by 1528 L Street in Bedford today.
We're here at McDonald's Gymnasium for tonight's game. It's time to introduce the starting lineup. And the crowd is on their feet and they're going wild. And here comes the new players. We've got the premium quarter pounders coming in tonight alongside the chicken classic sandwiches. Playing forward tonight, we have got one-of-a-kind McWrap. Guarding your hunger, it looks like we've got McDouble and McChicken coming in. And starting in the center court tonight will be Big Mac. Look on the sidelines, folks. We have Chicken McNuggets cheering tonight alongside those golden delicious fries. Hot and always ready. You'll score points every time you bring the family into Salem McDonald's, right here on Main Street, before or after the game. Don't forget to top off your favorite meal with a cold soft drink, that famous Mickey D sweet tea, or something from their full line of smoothies and McCafe coffee drinks. Order inside from 4 a.m. to 11, or get that one-of-a-kind taste 24 hours at the drive-thru. McDonald's, I'm loving it.
Back to the Ron Smith court we come, where it's halftime between the Senators and the Lions, and the Senators own the 19-16 advantage here at the half. They have led this entire time, other than a brief tie at 5 apiece here this evening. Let's look at the scoring in this first half. First for the visiting Lions with 16 points on the board here at the half. They get 3 from Brody Petmeyer in the first quarter of play, 2 for Myron Mead in the first quarter, so doing a nice job on Mead, who hurt us a little bit in the holiday tourney. Isaiah Jefferson with 2 off of those 2 free throws late in the second quarter of play. Cheryl Howard with 4 at the half. Shane Mahiran, the only starter who did not tally in that first half of play. Gavin Fleming with 5 off of the bench leads the Lions, and Grant Mahiran played most of that first half but was unable to tally for Salem. They go 2 of 3 from the stripe for 67% in the first half of play, and they commit 6 turnovers in that first half, 4 of those 6 coming in that first quarter of play. Meanwhile, for the Senators at the half, 19 points on the board with the 3-point lead. Just announced Jensen Links. He got the athletic prowess of his daddy, and Jensen wins the Chuck-a-Duck tonight. So proud Papa Jared Links brings Jensen across the way, and Jensen going to take home $25 in his pocket tonight. Congrats to the kindergarten student in Miss Beth Boyles' room here at West Washington Elementary, and congrats to a proud Papa as well. Here at the half, though, Holden Bousman has 7 to help pace the Senator attack, followed by 6 from Parker Green off a couple of made 3-pointers in the first quarter of play. Harrison Sanford has 4, Jake Strange with 2. Chase Farmer played and started but did not tally in the first half of play. Nash Huff come off the bench for about 20 seconds or so, give or take, but did not score in that appearance. Brown and Lopp have yet to come in for the Senators here in this low-scoring affair. Senators do turn it over 5 times, much like the Lions. 4 of their turnovers came in that first quarter of play, but both teams doing a much better job of settling down, taking care of the rock in that second quarter of play. And the Senators, like the Lions, shoot 3 from the free throw line, but they only connect on 1 of 3. Instead, the Lions go 2 of 3 for 67%. Senators just 33% from the line. Senators led it 8-5 after the first quarter. They tie the Lions at 11 apiece in the second frame. That gives them the 19-16 advantage on the board here at the half, despite having a couple of 7-point advantages and 1 brief lead at 15-7, giving them that 8-point cushion. We'll step aside and get word from one of our sponsors, and we'll come back and have the rest of the stats from this first 16 minutes of play with Coach Gibson right after this. You're listening to the Senator Halftime Report, brought to you by McDonald's on South Main Street in Salem.
Start the new year with some free food from your friends at El Camino's in Salem. Come in and get a free taco Monday through Friday, 5 p.m. to 7 p.m. only. When you purchase any of our taco meals, you'll get an extra taco for free. Promotion valid online purchases or dine-in. Check out all the great meals and deals through the week at El Camino's in Salem. Follow them on Facebook or keep your radios tuned to WSLM for more great specials. Call 812-586-0199 or stop in at 403 South Main Street in Salem. Open 11 to 9 Sunday through Thursday and until 10 p.m. on Fridays and Saturdays.
Back we come for the rest of our Senator Halftime Report, and here to bring you the rest of the first half stats. Petmeyer with it. Goes back to Mahiran. Senators starting to try to trap just a little bit more out of this. Starting to burn some clock, and Mead loses the handle. Turnover number 7, and it was the Lions who fell asleep at the wheel.
Yeah, they actually throws a bad pass at the half-court line, but Senators got to score. Down 5 with 5 to go. It's going to be a low-scoring contest. Just missed the front end. Somebody's got to put it in the bucket.
See if it's the guy that had the basketball moments ago. Parker instead drives in, takes contact, counted in 1 for Green. Parker hadn't scored since the first quarter when he hit those